Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nerdy Movie News Roundup, the show where we round up all of the latest news in the world of nerdy movies. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, so I kind of just want to get right into it. So, first up, this is a new segment I'm introducing. It's called Trailer Talk. Trailer time for trailers. Let's all watch some trailers. That's the theme song. I just came up with it, so it's really good. You know what I'm saying. We only have one trailer this week. It's a trailer for Venom 2. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I did not like the first Venom movie. It's a movie that kind of baffles me, to be honest, yet again. I don't understand what people see in this movie. I mean, clearly people like it because it made a lot of money, but I just remember watching it being like, I don't know if this movie is supposed to be funny because it's not funny, but then I also can't really take it seriously because even then it's not a good movie. Also, I don't understand it, but it made a lot of money. They're making a second one, and this is the second trailer for the second one. I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about the first one. And it looks like more Venom. So I feel like if you like Venom, then this is more of what you like. If you're like me and you didn't like Venom, then this is also not an appealing trailer. And by the way, I'm not even somebody who's like, oh, Venom needs Spider-Man. Eddie Brock needs to have the relationship with Peter Parker because that's how it was in the comic books. I honestly don't care about that. I just want a good movie, and I don't feel like they made a good movie with the first one. But I don't know. You got like you got some CGI creatures fighting about, so. You know, it is what it is. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Let's just move on because okay, you want to know something that bothers me about Venom? Venom made $500 million more than Into the Spider-Verse. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Movie-going audience. Now, normally, I'm not a judgmental person, right? Watch what you want. Watch what you want to watch. Like what you want to like. But that is a disgrace. We have failed as a species. This is more of an indictment on the human race than people not wanting to get vaccinated. Okay? I can't believe that we did this. That $500 million worth of more people went to go see Venom than Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, you know what? This is depressing. We're moving on. Okay, so this is our first news story. Suicide Squad is out today. I'm gonna go watch it tonight. I'm very excited. Hopefully it's good. But there was another Suicide Squad movie. In fact, you take out the and you get the title of it. It was Suicide Squad. It released in 2016, and if you'll remember, people didn't really like it. Yeah. And one of the, things that sort of came out later was that Warner Brothers kind of took the movie from the director David Ayer, and they gave it to like a trailer house, and they said, "Hey, we want this movie to be more fun. We could go make it a fun movie with the songs and the stuff, and so that it can be more appealing to the general movie-going audience." And well, they didn't really succeed in that. Well, actually, they kind of did because the movie made a lot of money. So who the hell am I? But ever since then, people have kind of wondered, like, hey, what was David Ayer's cut of the movie like? And well, this past week, Ayer opened up about it on Twitter. So this was because some movie critic guy, he was talking shit, and David Ayer, I don't think it was specifically this guy. I think this was like the straw that broke the camel's back that finally made David Ayer want to go, you know what, man, I'm sick of this. I need to say my piece. So here he made a tweet where he linked like a bunch of images where he really went into detail about like his personal life and all that. And all that stuff is interesting, but I took out the bits that pertain to his Suicide Squad movie. So let's just read some of it. I put my life into Suicide Squad. I made something amazing. My cut is intricate and emotional journey, and by the way, there are going to be some grammatical errors, with some bad people who are shit on and discarded, a theme that resonates in my soul. The studio cut is not my movie. Read that again. I will. The studio cut is not my movie. And my cut is not the 10-week director's cut. It is a fully mature edit by Lee Smith, standing on the incredible work by John Gilroy. It's all Stephen Price's brilliant score, with not a single radio song in the whole thing. So, a couple things that we need to touch on there. First of all, he says that he has a mature cut. Very important to note, he does not say that he has a complete cut. Maybe he means that he has a complete cut, but that's not what it says. So, that's really important to recognize. But then the other thing that he mentions there is that his cut does not have any like pop songs or like popular songs in it at all. That is crazy. Like, that alone makes me want to see his cut of the movie, because the movie is just going to feel entirely different, right? So that makes me want to see his cut. Okay, so continuing on, it has traditional character arcs, amazing performances, a solid third act resolution, definitely shade being thrown at the 2016 movie. A handful of people have seen it. If someone says they have seen it, they haven't. I've never told my side of the story, and I never will. I'm so proud of James and excited for the success that's coming. I support WB. Sorry, I was drinking some water. Got to stay hydrated. And I'm thrilled the franchise is getting the legs it needs. I'm rooting for everyone, the cast, the crew. Every movie is a miracle. And James's brilliant work will be the miracle of miracles. I appreciate your patience. I will no longer speak publicly on the matter. And, you know, I think it's good that he puts that at the end there, right? Making it clear that there's no beef with James Gunn, you know. And James Gunn voiced his support on Twitter as well. And also saying, like, hey, Warner Brothers, I'm not completely shitting on you. I would absolutely love to work with you again in the future, right? Because he's been very smart about not burning bridges, right? And because, you know, he probably wants to continue working. But this was just his way of coming out and saying, yeah, no, you got your suspicions were correct. The studio cut was not my movie. I made a different movie. They took it from me and they made something else. Now, as far as like whether or not this will ever see his cut see the light of day, I think that if there actually is a complete cut of his Suicide Squad movie just sitting on a hard drive somewhere, then yeah, I think there's a good chance that we'll eventually see it drop on HBO Max or something. Will we see what happened with Zack Snyder's Justice League, where they had to go, like there was not a complete cut and they had to go in and finish a bunch of the CGI? You know, Zack Snyder decided that he wanted to shoot some more stuff. Will we see something like that? Probably not. I don't see WB putting that amount of money into another project like that. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it's just something that they can literally just throw on HBO Max, yeah, I think there's a decent chance that we see that, and I want to see it. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you want to see his cut, and then do you actually think we are going to see it? So next story. So last week we talked a lot about Scarlett Johansson and her lawsuit. And so just to catch you up real quick, basically Scarlett Johansson, when she signed her contract for Black Widow, her salary was dependent on box office dollars, right? Like a percentage of the box office revenue. And due to the pandemic, Disney has put a bunch of their movies day and date in theaters and on their Disney Plus thing with the Premier Access thing where you pay $30, yada, yada, yada. And according to Scarlett Johansson and her legal team, this is in violation of their contract. And so that's where it stood when I covered it last week, but there have been some more developments on it. For one, here we have a statement from Disney, and this is coming from Variety. There is no merit whatsoever to this filing, Disney said in an unusually fiery statement. The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, first of all, the pandemic has nothing to do with the contract that Scarlett is claiming that you broke. That has something to do with why you would want to put it on streaming, but as far as your agreement between her and Scarlett, COVID has nothing to do with that. And by the way, this is coming from the company that has opened their theme parks during the pandemic. So, just want to throw that out there. The company went on to state that the star has already received $20 million for her work and argued that the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date. So, her making $20 million is completely irrelevant to whether or not they broke their contract. And I like how they say that it being on Disney Plus significantly enhances her potential to make money. Like, not that it has made her more money. It has the potential to make her more money. And then we get to the end of this. Disney did not provide any information about whether or not Johansson's pact was renegotiated so that she could share in streaming rental revenue. So that's big. That's important. Like, the way it seems, they did not go to her to renegotiate her contract. They just did this. So that's yeah. I'll probably get into my overall take later, but just kind of laying ground for. I think you can see where I'm going. So then, now this is a statement from Johansson's attorney. I'm also getting this from Variety. It's no secret that Disney is releasing films like Black Widow directly onto Disney Plus to increase subscribers and thereby boost the company's stock price, and that it's hiding behind COVID-19 as a pretext to do so, John Berlinski, an attorney for Johansson, said in a statement to Variety. But ignoring the contracts of the artists responsible for the success of its films in furtherance of this short-sighted strategy violates their rights, and we look forward to proving as much in court. This will surely not be the last case where Hollywood talent stands up to Disney and makes it clear that whatever the company may pretend, it has a legal obligation to honor its contracts. And that's the thing, right? I like seeing these different companies explore different release strategies, right? We have Paramount Plus doing their thing where they'll put a movie in theaters for 45 days and then they'll put it directly onto their streaming service. We see HBO Max. They've tried out this day and date release strategy with theaters and HBO Max at the same time. And now we see Disney saying like, hey, can we release movies in theaters and then also charge an extra $30 if you want to watch it at home? Like, I think it's cool to try out these strategies. That being said, you have to honor your contracts. Like, you just can't break your contracts because you don't feel like renegotiating them. I mean, you just can't do that. So, all that being said, what does the contract actually say? Well, we don't exactly have access to it, but I do have some clips from Variety. Oh, by the way, I'm trying to okay, no, never mind. All this comes from Variety. I'm trying this thing out where I'm like writing up these like graphics and I'm trying to accurately cite where I'm getting all this stuff from. But anyways, this is from a Variety article, kind of going through what's in the contract. So here's the thing. According to the suit, Johansson's contract guaranteed a wide theatrical release for Black Widow, meaning the film would be shown on at least 1,500 screens. Johansson's lawyers argue that everyone understood that to mean an exclusive theatrical release, under which Black Widow would not be available on other platforms for at least 90 to 120 days. Yeah, so that's big. Apparently, in the contract, it doesn't actually state that Black Widow has to have an exclusive theatrical release. Apparently, it just says wide theatrical release, but there is more. Now, Johansson states that, it's largely recognized. What did it say at the end there? It says that Johansson's lawyers argue that everyone understands that means theatrical release. And to bolster their argument, the suit includes a 2019 email between the actress's legal team and Marvel chief counsel Dave Galuzzi, in which the studio attorney promised a traditional theatrical bow like our other pictures, while adding, "We understand that should the plan change, we would need to discuss this with you and come to an understanding, as the deal is based on a series of very large box office bonuses. So in an email, Disney recognized this, but it wasn't in the actual contract. Now, we get into this last bit, and it says Disney has countered that it did live up to the agreement. That is, Black Widow did get a wide theatrical release, and nowhere in the contract does it say that the release would be exclusive to theaters. Now, I, believe it or not, am not a lawyer. I'm not a legal expert, but from what I understand as to how contract law works, contracts are not just like, they're not just, official documents that you sign, right? They can be verbal. For example, if me and you, right, where we agree to something verbally, and we agree to something where we both, and this is a very simplistic way of explaining it, but if we both agree to something and we're both getting something out of the agreement, that can count as a contract, right? If I say, I'm going to mow your lawn and you're going to pay me $20. If I mow your lawn and you don't pay me $20, you broke our contract and I can sue you, right? And so apart from that, like, virtual contracts are also a thing, right? Like, when you're signing a form online and you get to the end of it and it's like, okay, type your name into this bar here and this will count as your contract. Like, I've signed forms that are like that. That is a binding agreement that I have read whatever that form says and that I agree to its conditions. So I could be wrong. So if you're a lawyer and you're watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that email exchange does count. I think it does. So I don't know. I'm going to be very interested to see where this goes, but from what I understand in my very limited knowledge of contract law, I'm pretty sure that email counts. And with that email, this seems like a very black and white issue to me that Disney violated their contract here. But yeah, that's just how I see it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, especially if you're more knowledgeable about contract law than I am, which is not an easy or is not a difficult task. So yeah, we're going to move on to the next story now, but I'm sure this story is going to have more developments in the coming weeks. Okay. So Black Adam is a movie that has been in development for about 80 years now, but it finally finished filming. It's now in post-production or whatever. And we got some new info about sort of the technology that went into making this movie. So it's coming from Screen Rant. During a recent interview with Collider, president of Seven Bucks Productions, Hiram Garcia, talked about what fans can expect to see in Black Adam. He teased that Black Adam's powers will be on full display throughout the movie and that they'll look unlike anything else fans have seen before. Garcia revealed that Black Adam is using new technology to bring Johnson's superpowers, especially his flying, to the screen. This is a character with amazing abilities. He has super speed, can fly, and has world-breaking strength, to name a few. We wanted to make sure moviegoers feel that throughout the entire movie, you're not going to see him use super speed just once and then it stops. This is part of his arsenal. It's common to see abilities fall to the wayside when dealing with characters like that, but one of our many goals was to keep continuity there and push the bar in terms of how we do it. For example, the technology we're using to make Black Adam fly has never been done before. It's completely unique. It was critical for us to ensure that it felt special, authentic, and real. Jamais Sarah took that to heart. Our special effects team are Oscar winners, and we certainly put them to work. So, I don't really know what that means as far as what we're going to see on the big screen. I don't know. We've seen people fly on screen before. It's and we've seen them do it for extended periods of time. The entire third act of Man of Steel was basically a Dragon Ball Z episode. So, I mean, cool. I mean, I'm not saying he's lying that they're using new technology, but I just wonder how that's going to translate to the screen. But I am definitely interested in seeing what it turns out to be when it comes out. But yeah, next story. We have another another actor suing a studio. So this is gonna be a bit of a wordy section, but I don't know. I felt like this is a pretty big deal. I feel like it's worth covering. Let's just get through it. Butler sued New Image / Millennium Films, claiming that the producer had understated domestic and foreign receipts by tens of millions of dollars and had failed to report $8 million that went to its own executives. Producers have earned tens of millions of dollars from Olympus, but yeah, so I believe he's only suing for the first Mount Olympus movie, or that's what he's suing for. I don't know if they worked out their contracts for the ones moving forward, like after the first one, but I think this is just for the first one. But refused to pay Butler a penny of the grosses and profits promised to him in the parties' agreement. Oh, by the way, this is coming from Variety. The lawsuit states, Butler refuses to tolerate defendants' misrepresentations and other wrongful conduct. Butler worked with defendants to create a highly successful movie franchise. He demands his fair share. According to the suit, Butler's contract entitled him to 10% of net profits, plus 6% of domestic adjusted gross receipts above $70 million, and 12% of foreign adjusted gross receipts above $35 million. His production company was also entitled to 5% of net profits, and Butler was to receive certain bonuses for hitting box office thresholds. The suit alleges that Butler has received irregular accounting statements from the producer, and that Butler has objected to the statements according to the suit. Butler hired an auditor who found that domestic receipts were understated by $17.5 million and producers' receipts were understated by $12 million, including the $8 million that went to the executives. The suit also claims that the producers deducted the full cost of foreign publicity from foreign receipts, even though the foreign distributors picked up half the cost. The suit also claims that New Image / Millennium instructed distributors to deduct certain expenses such that receipts would be underreported. So that's a lot of information, but basically what all that boils down to is that Gerard Butler is accusing New Image of messing with the numbers so that it doesn't look like they're making as much money and that they don't have to pay him as much. Obviously, this is a lot more complicated than the Scarlett Johansson one, so I don't have like a super strong opinion about it. This is definitely something that the evidence is just gonna have to be presented in court, and we're gonna see where it goes from there. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But for now, it's interesting. It's a pretty important story, right? Actors suing studios. So I covered it. Moving on. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Man, everybody's been wanting to see that trailer. Well, we still don't have it. But what we do have is something that is just as good. We have a set photo. So here we see Spider-Man. He's standing on a vehicle of some kind. He's talking to Doctor Strange. And on a truck in the background there, you see the word feast on it. So if you played the Spider-Man PS4 game, then you'll know that Feast is a homeless shelter charity thing that Aunt May works at. And there are also certain other things going on with it that I kind of don't want to spoil, because I don't want to spoil the game and then inadvertently potentially spoil the movie. So a feast could potentially be an important thing. Watch out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll be curious to see what that means for the movie. If that has certain other implications that if you played the game you'll know about, or if it's just an Easter egg. But yeah, we'll just have to see. But for now, we will have to move on to the next story. The Lord of the Rings is a show on Amazon that is in development, and we have our first look at it. There we go. I have a confession to make. I've not. Sorry, I just had like a bit of a hiccup / burp. I don't know. That was a weird feeling. I have not seen The Lord of the Rings. I've not seen the movies. I know I'm terrible. I'm a terrible human being. I deserve to rot in hell. But, I mean, there's really no but. I have no excuses. I'll get to it at some point. I'll probably get to it before this show comes out. Although the show is a prequel, so maybe I'll just be stubborn and not watch The Lord of the Rings until after this show ends. No. I'll probably watch it. But yeah, no, I don't know. This image looks cool. It makes me, like, I look at this image and it exudes Lord of the Rings to me. It just kind of feels like Lord of the Rings. But yeah, if you're a fan, let me know if like any of this, if you recognize any of this. Do you recognize this little guy down here that's with like the white robe? Do you recognize the castle? I don't know. But we do also have some more info about what the show is about and just some more info on the show. So this is coming from Screen Rant. Set in a period long before the events of the Lord of the Rings. I'm not going to read in that voice. The Fellowship of the Ring. Amazon's show takes... I like how they say long before the events of the Lord of the Rings, even though you should say long before the events of The Hobbit. Because doesn't The Hobbit take place before the Lord of the Rings? Or does everybody just want to forget about the Hobbit movies? I don't know. But Amazon's show takes place in the Tolkien timeline known as the Second Age, lasting 3,441 years, marking the One Ring's conception and ending with the defeat of Sauron's army. I know about the ring. I know they throw it in a volcano at some point. The Second Age offers plenty of arcs and fresh faces for the saga, following a period of time of Amazon keeping major details about the series under wraps. It was finally revealed that Amazon's Lord of the Rings series has been slated for a September 2022 release date. Now it appears that season 1 of Lord of the Rings has crossed the finish line. So yeah, this series has been shooting for like about a year now, which is crazy. Per deadline, Amazon's Lord of the Rings season 1 has officially wrapped filming in New Zealand, expected to consist of 20 episodes, which is surprising to me, and toting a price tag of approximately $465 million. Season 1 of Lord of the Rings experienced numerous hurdles during its production after kicking off production in February of 2020. Lord of the Rings season 1 is finally complete. At least the filming is. There's still post-production to do. So yeah, I mean, some pretty, in my opinion, kind of surprising notes to take from that. Like, 20 episodes is a lot of episodes. In this age of streaming where like the MCU shows are like 6 to 9 episodes. Like, we're kind of seeing these companies kind of inject a lot of money into these shows, but keeping it, at least it seems like this way to me, like they're wanting to keep the episode count a bit down so that the episodes will be like really they'll look really nice and they'll have nice special effects, but there just won't be able to be like a ton of them. But they're doing 20 episodes now. I did some rough calculus. And basically, I divided 400 and whatever it said, million, 465 million divided by 20. That basically means that each episode will cost roughly $23 million. I mean, I'm sure it's not divided like evenly like that, but each episode should cost roughly $23 million, and that's insane. I mean, like for reference, each episode in season 8 of Game of Thrones cost around $15 million. And that's like at the end of its run. Lord of the Rings is going to start off with each episode costing around $23 million. So I don't know if this show is going to be any good, but it's going to look nice. So yeah, let me know what you think about Lord of the Rings. Do you think are you excited? Are you like, why are they leave Lord of the Rings alone? You already messed up with the Hobbit. Leave it alone. I'm excited for it. I'm interested. There is a Game of Thrones hole, I think, in a lot of our hearts. Although I guess The Witcher has kind of filled up that hole, even though I personally am not a fan of The Witcher. So I don't know. I want a fantasy. I want like a fantasy show to fill that hole in my heart. But yeah, let me know what you think, and we're moving on to the next story. Blue Beetle is a film that has been in development for HBO Max, and we finally have our cast. Or we have the Blue Beetle has been cast. the main character has been cast. Cobra Kai actor Xolo Maridueña is in negotiations for the lead role in Blue Beetle for HBO Max and Warner Brothers. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. So, yeah, this kid here is gonna be Blue Beetle. I haven't seen Cobra Kai, so I can't really speak to his acting chops, but I'm assuming he's pretty good if people really enjoy the show. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm really interested to see what these HBO Max movies are going to be because, we've seen Disney Plus make really, high quality shows for Disney Plus, but they haven't yet actually like made a movie and put it on Disney Plus as like a Disney Plus, exclusive release. That's what these movies are going to be. And so I think Warner Media has like an opportunity to kind of like stick their flag into that sort of area of entertainment where, yeah, we can make a really high quality film and just put it on HBO Max. And yeah, I'm excited to see how like Batgirl and this and Static Shock turns out because I think they're also making a Static Shock movie. But we can't watch it now, so until then, we'll just have to move on to the next story. The Rock. Look at this specimen of a man. Gotta love him. Unless you're Vin Diesel, because they have been feuding over the Fast and the Furious franchise. Now, this has been one of the dumbest just stories that's been percolating in Hollywood for like the past few years. So like I guess the gist of it is that Vin Diesel like he likes to pressure The Rock and like the way he describes it is like he'll do anything to get the best performances out of an actor in a movie he's producing. That's like a loose quote from what he said in an interview, and it's like so like from what I gather, the sort of dynamic is that like The Rock is just kind of doing his thing, and then Vin Diesel is coming over and being like, "Nah, man, you gotta do your performance like this, and you're not doing it right, The Rock. Do it again." And I guess The Rock is just kind of annoyed by Vin Diesel at this point, and because okay, so here these are comments from the producer of Hobbs and Shaw. So this is coming from Screen Rant. In an interview with Collider, producer Hiram Garcia shared an update on Hobbs and Shaw 2. After filming Fast 8, Dwayne Johnson made the clear decision to close the Fast and Furious chapter for all the evident reasons, which is what I'm assuming is what I just described, his feud with Vin Diesel. He wished them all well and shifted our focus on other storytelling avenues. So while he will not be in Fast 10 or Fast 11, that won't in any way interfere with our Hobbs plans. Obviously, all these characters exist in the Fast universe, and we love to see all aspects of that universe thrive and succeed. We just have specific plans for what we want to do with the Hobbs character, and I think the fans are going to love it. We're working to deliver something very unique and fresh, and we know the studio is eager for us to get into it ASAP. So, I'm personally sad to hear that The Rock isn't going to be in the Fast movies anymore. I'm a big Fast and Furious fan. I think Fast and Furious is better when The Rock is in it. I wish that they would just grow up and all live in harmony as bald men together. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But at least he is going to be in the Hobbs and Shaw movies. And if we're being real, the best aspect of the Fast movies that The Rock is in is his dynamic with Jason Statham. Or was it? Jason Statham was only in 7, right, with The Rock? I'm pretty sure that's the case. Either way, those are the best. Either way, like the best thing to come out of that franchise is The Rock and Jason Statham, and that dynamic is still present in Hobbs and Shaw. So I can still look forward to Hobbs and Shaw too. It's just a shame that they can't be friends. Either way, let me know what you think about this. Are you sad that The Rock isn't going to be in Fast anymore? I personally am. But maybe this next news story will cheer me up. Miss Marvel is delayed. Oh no. Yeah, so apparently Miss Marvel is going to get delayed. It was initially slated to be out in 2021, but it might end up coming out in 2022 now. So this is from Screen Rant. Although Disney has yet to give any official announcement, industry insiders seem to have updates on the matter. According to TV Line, it is very safe to assume at this point that Miss Marvel is now on track for an early 2022 premiere. Despite this tidbit, there is still no word on a concrete release window for the show. And yeah, I think it might have been the last episode, or there are 2 episodes ago where we covered the announcement that Hawkeye was going to premiere, I think, on November 22nd of this year, and that kind of made us all wonder, like, well, what's gonna go on with Miss Marvel? Because if Hawkeye premieres in November 22nd, then there's not really gonna be enough room for Miss Marvel to premiere like in say December, because there's just not enough room to work with. So then I kind of wondered, okay, well, there's kind of this gap in October that Miss Marvel could potentially premiere. But then it's kind of a weird thing of like, well, why would you announce Hawkeye in November before announcing Miss Marvel in October? So at this point, I'm kind of the opinion that, yeah, it's probably going to get delayed to 2022. Because the other thing was also that like the vice president of Marvel Studios came out and they were like, yes, Miss Marvel and Hawkeye are both going to premiere in 2021. But I don't know, maybe the plans changed after that. But yeah, at this point, I think it's pretty safe to assume that it's going to premiere in 2022, although it says early 2022, so it's not going to be too long until we see it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for Miss Marvel. That Avengers game was not very good, but Miss Marvel was by far the best aspect of it. So I want to see the show. Next story. So we reported a while back that Argylle. Why did I say we reported? I reported. This is a solo operation. I reported that Argylle is a new spy movie being developed by Matthew Vaughn. Of course, Matthew Vaughn worked on the Kingsman franchise, which had a very good first film and a god-awful second film. But Argylle is set to be a sort of it seems like it's going to be a bit more of a serious spy movie in the vein of a James Bond, and it's now being acquired by Apple. So this is coming from Collider. The $200 million deal only covers one movie, but let's be real. You don't spend that kind of money if you're not thinking franchise, which is something that Argylle is expected to launch for Apple. The streamer is already in business with Vaughn, who is producing its upcoming Tetris movie, starring Taron Egerton as the man who brought the video game to the world. I'm thrilled to team with Apple and bring the most compelling spy thriller I've ever read to the only streaming service that can create a franchise of this scale and quality for global audiences to experience, Vaughn told Deadline, which broke the acquisition news. So, yeah, I mean, the Apple has a lot of money and they're throwing it around. They previously acquired Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, which, Martin Scorsese, he can't really get a movie funded by like a traditional studio for theatrical release, but Netflix was like, hey man, we'll give you your absurd amount of money for The Irishman, and now Apple was like, hey, we'll give you your absurd amount of money for The Killers of the Flower Moon, and now they've also bought Argylle, although this one makes a bit more sense because I imagine that this is a movie that has the potential to draw a lot of eyeballs. So yeah, I don't know. I even with how bad the first Kingsman movie or the second Kingsman movie was, I still love the first one so much that I definitely want to see more of Matthew Vaughn in the spy scene. So I'm looking forward to Argylle, and if I have to, I will get an Apple TV Plus or whatever it's called subscription. So next story, and this is our final story. James Gunn, director of The Suicide Squad, which is premiering today, not Suicide Squad, which premiered in 2016, #release the air cut. Do it, Warner Brothers, you cowards! It appears that James Gunn is, in fact, going to be sticking with DC and producing more movies with them. This is coming from Screen Rant. In an interview with THR with The Hollywood Reporter, DC Films president Walter Hamada hinted that Gunn would return to the universe. Hamada spoke about how he enjoyed working with Gunn and is always welcome back. Hamada did say he and Gunn have more projects planned, but didn't divulge exactly what or if it would be another film or series. Hamada said, Gunn is always welcome back, whatever he wants to do. He really has a vision, and he's a great partner with us. Whenever he wants to come back, we're ready for him. He'll be back. We have more stuff planned. And, James Gunn was being, cute on Twitter, where he tweeted out the emoji in response to, a tweet covering this, being the looking to the eye, to the side of the eye emoji, he's being cute. yeah, he's pretty. It's pretty much confirmed that yeah, he's gonna be back. And it's really no surprise. Like I would imagine that after Guardians 3, he's probably gonna want to step away from Marvel. I would imagine that he made his trilogy. He wants to do different things. And no, he's definitely done great stuff at Marvel. But I would imagine that at this point, with how big of a name he is, he probably is like, you know what? Why would I make more Marvel movies when DC is going to let me have all the creative freedom I want? I haven't seen the Suicide Squad yet, but from what I've heard, James Gunn was not lying when DC said, yeah, we're going to let you do whatever the hell you want. So it's no surprise that he's coming back to DC. And I don't know, I've been thinking, like, what do I want James Gunn to do? The thing is that I feel like my knowledge of DC Comics is not vast enough that I don't think I can even think of a weird enough character that James Gunn would want to do. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I want a good Harley Quinn movie, maybe. Like, I feel like maybe he would make an actual good Harley Quinn movie that's more in line with the HBO Max animated series that, had Harley Quinn be an actual character, like an actual person. But yeah, I don't know. Aside from that, maybe I've seen people saying they want him to do like a Teen Titans movie. I feel like he could actually do that justice, but I don't know. Yeah, and I just want him to do whatever he wants. But yeah, with that, I am going to be ending this episode of Nerdy Movie News Roundup. Of course, where we have rounded up all of the news in the world of nerdy movies. Tell me your thoughts on any and all below, and bye.